Love the hometown homies.
You always got to respect them. That's
They're
who you put on for. Like,
they're the day ones, bro.
yeah, they are. That's who you. That's what I'm saying. That's who you put on for, and like, you shout out to them or you share with them. They're always like the ones who really are gonna like, oh yeah, I gotta go see that, and I'm telling all my coworkers about it, and that's a lovely thing. And it's like, yeah, I'm putting on for my city.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
And yeah, actually, a lot of our, we have like data of people that are watching the film, and a lot of it is from Tampa, from Florida,
Yeah.
all the locals there. So we're getting a lot of people back home watching it. Well, and Jake's still there. Jake's in Tampa.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to push it too here.
That's good. Yeah, we got a man on the inside.
That's it, bro. Man on the inside. All right, this is Off Script, episode 5. I think this is episode 5.
Episode 5, I feel it.
Let's go.
I
We
love
got
that.
Godderick Alucard.
Yes.
Played Trevor.
Tea time, Trevor.
Tea time, baby.
Yeah.
Tea time.
When did tea time come into it?
Tea time came in at the beach episode where me and what is it?
David,
the guy who played my best friend.
Oh, are you talking about? Oh no, you're talking about Danny.
Danny. I knew it was a D. Danny, and we were asked to fill in the scene by being in the background and running like fake plays, showing off, like really like, feeding into ourselves and characters. Like, yeah, we just need something back there going on. So, we know you're at the beach prior to the interaction of the girl staring at you and then having the talk with Jada.
And then her looking at you.
Yeah,
and
her
that
looking at
Yeah,
you.
we're basically foreshadowing the triangle there of what's to come.
Yeah, and so whilst being back there and not knowing what to do or what would be seen, we just started investing into the background of Trevor.
The backstory.
Yes.
And
so like I remember he came over, he was like, yeah, baby, it's your time. I was like, yeah, it's my time. Come on, I need you to run this route. So he runs it, I do this fake, and I'm just like in the mindset that, yeah, I'm practicing like an elite quarterback. No matter when I do this, it's elite. I have complete confidence in myself, and I just throw this pretty pass, and I like open up like my
It's like
my
Superman.
fake shirt like Superman, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm envisioning this T on my chest, and I'm like, yeah, baby. And he comes back up, I'm like, it's tea time. I'm yelling as he's running back to me, and he's like, oh man, I like that. I was like, it kind of built off of you saying it's my time and me imagining this T on my chest, and just being that elite quarterback. And so that was development of Tea Time, and I tried to carry that energy throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah, man. No, you definitely did. I was. We always talk. I mean, we still to this day talk about your tape, and how it's just like one of the best tapes we've seen for any of our films.
Thank you.
Because we interviewed or auditioned a lot of people audition for that role, and it's just like it didn't quite like fit, like on all different characters, auditioned, and and we seen yours. We're like, yeah, this is it. So I guess getting into that mind frame. Did you think about it when you auditioned, or did you just say I'm just gonna do this, or did you go into a certain mindset? What was your thought process as an actor going into it?
So that I've told this story to Jaden and Megan. That audition day was rough for me because I had 11 auditions due.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I had
That's a lot of
11 auditions due in 1 week, and I'm like, how do I prioritize these? And as actors, I would say we go, hey, our agent has sent us this, or we've submitted for that. What's most important? Oh, that lead role in the Netflix show. Let me knock that out first, put my energy into that. And so I was going down, and there it was off rip, and I'm like, okay, here's this project I submitted to, and it's a feature, but I'm not the lead. And as I'm knocking these auditions out, more are coming in. And I'm like, I don't know if I have time to do this. This is why I don't self-submit myself. Like, I just, there's too many coming in. But I was like, let me just read it and see if it's something I can invest in. And if if it's something that's either not moving me to want to be creative, or it's something where I want to be too creative with, I have to just leave it there.
Yeah.
And focus on the things that my agent are sending in, so I don't have to have a riff with them. And my friend is there, and I was like, do you mind if I just read over this script real quick, since we've knocked the 2 out we were already planning to do quicker than we thought? She goes, yeah, go ahead, read over it. And I read it. I'm just like, this is brilliant. I was like, I wasn't expecting this. This writer's actually good. Who is this?
Oh man.
And so I'm like, let's read it back and forth real quick and see how it feels. So she reads the other lines, and she's like, wow, this is good. You were right. And I'm like, I think we could do this. I'm like, I know this character. This character is a couple of the guys I grew up with playing sports in high school and in college. Like, I used to mock those guys all the time. I used to pretend to be them all the time. And so she was like, well, when is this due? How much time do we have? I was like, they said they wanted it in by midnight tonight. Keep in mind, at this point, it's 11 p.m. that same day. We just finished 2 other auditions. So I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. And I like changed my shirt real quick. I put on my chain, and she was like, what are you gonna do by the lines? I'm like, we're just gonna work out the lines as we go, because there's no time to remember them. So we get into the scene. I do it once, and she was like, that was almost word perfect. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just I guess that goes within my lexicon of just things I'm comfortable with, because again, I've heard guys, athletes I grew up with, talk like this guy.
Yeah.
And by the third audition, or by the third go around, I had the fun I wanted to have with it. She was like, you're word perfect. She was like, that's your tape. And I was like, yeah, I don't think we need to do it again. And so that was the process, and I sent it in, and I didn't think twice about it. And I think it was a day later, you wrote me and was like, hey man, just watched your tape. It was amazing. I'd love to talk to you about the role. And I was like, I just sent this in. And so yeah, that was how my approach came for that role. I wish it was more like mysterious and like mind blowing of how I dove into the character, but really I just drew from real life.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I think Jaden probably would say this too. I think it's almost like the less you try, especially with auditions or even anything, it's like the more you think about it, sometimes might even slip you up. So maybe the fact that you didn't have time and you were so had so much going on, you were just able to sink into it, not overthink it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and pretty much all the characters in this film were based on real people. Mm-hmm. So there is that reality to it of just, if you know, and if you don't, then it's hard.
It needs that realism and not hyper realism, or else it comes off as, well, I don't know anybody like this. Yeah, I like the character, but living in the hyper realism, it is like I like them, but I don't know anyone. Yeah,
like a city boy trying to be a cowboy or something.
Yes.
Then they put on the accent and they're so charactery.
Yeah, it's
whereas
No, I think that's what most of the guys going into this role was doing.
Yeah, they were ultra athlete bro.
Yeah, and it seemed too weird and cliche and off. Yours felt real. Like, oh, this is him. Like, he's not acting. He's just being. It's like, this is the guy. I mean, I didn't know you prior, so I thought maybe that's just how you are.
And that's always the scary part about auditioning for any type of character, right? Because people go, it's so real. Are they acting, or is this who they are? This is who we need because they just get the character, and this is, maybe they get it so well because they are them. And it's like, you go in and you play, a jerk too well. People are like, yeah, I'm going to cast you, but be careful of that guy on set. Yeah. He's a jerk.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because this, I've been thinking about this dynamic is, Trevor. Trevor is, I don't really see him as a bad guy as much as he is kind of antagonistic in a way. I still, it's maybe a little misguided and fighting for his own interests, but at the end of the day, everyone does that.
Right.
But what are your thoughts, I guess, diving into that, being that your character was antagonistic to a point, but also still this guy with a dream?
For sure. And I think the people I drew from, what you see in the tape, that's what made you like it, because that's exactly who they were. My friends weren't bad guys to me. Like, these were the guys I'm like, oh man, they were just a jerk to that girl, but she still wants them. Like, why? Like, from my perspective, like, they were a little jerky. They weren't mean or evil people. Or it's like, you know, they do something good, and the way they chose to celebrate success on the field or the court was different than me. Like, I was more quiet because if I said something, I was always nervous that, oh man, it would put pressure on me to double down on it. If I couldn't do it again, then they would make fun of me, where they would come off and yeah, I did that, it's all me. And they had that confidence, and I could never have it. So when I did do that audition, and when I, you know, brought that into the transition of actually filming, I brought that these were my friends. I liked these guys. I had respect for them, even though they could be a little bit overly confident at time and boisterous in how they displayed that, but that didn't make them bad people. They just wanted people to know I worked hard to be able to do this, and when I do that, you're gonna know that, hey, that was intentional. That was hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that is a way to keep your own confidence up too, and it's not even meant with ill intent. Sometimes that boisterousness is sometimes it's even a projection of, you know, hey,
he's cheering on.
You being boisterous, Ruffalo.
Yeah.
You being boisterous.
He's like, I'm that dude right now.
He said, I'm that dog. I'm the dog. He sees someone walk by and he just goes nuts.
Yeah.
But that boisterousness is like, it's a really way to keep yourself, just like from losing faith in yourself sometimes. You know, I feel like sometimes it's perceived as like, oh, this guy's a jerk, but really, like, they might have more insecurity than the person who's not doing it. And typically that is kind of how it goes.
And that's also something I tried to infuse into Trevor, is that I love those guys. They weren't bad people, but I got to talk with them on personal levels. I got to see them have conversations with their parents, other players, me, and I saw their insecurities. It's just, again, they had the confidence to paint over their insecurities in a way I didn't. And so I tried to bring that insecurity to Trevor. And I think that's why he lives so well on camera, because, again, it's not hyper-realism you're seeing played out. It's realism. It's, you know, those guys that I played with and I trusted and I loved and respected.
Yeah, that's sick, man. So, yeah, I mean, you reading the concept of the film, it being like a sports drama, skimboarding, no other film has ever touched on that before. What was your initial thoughts reading it, maybe after you got casted, and then after watching it at the premiere? Like, what was that like, and how did you feel about, you know, obviously you're seeing your scenes, but seeing it collectively all together?
Man, first thing that comes to mind is what a blessing and a journey, because I remember, you know, our conversation after you received my tape, and I had read the script. You had sent me the script before we hopped on that call, and then during the call I told you I read it, and that last scene especially between the main character and his dad, when you know, he says that one line and that scene is painted so perfectly on the beach with the sunset, I like cried, like, and I'm not a crier. And so I knew, like, man, there's, like, if nothing else in this movie sells someone, they'll sit there and whatever confusion or boredom or mild entertainment that was delivered into that moment, and all it takes is one moment to really hook somebody and goes, that was a great movie. Just because of that one moment having so much gravitas to it.
Yeah.
And so with that, like, I knew it was a great going to be a great movie just because of that one part. But I believed everything else was good as well. The thing that I was always concerned about was skimboarding, because I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And so I, even during the audition, me and my friend was like, what is skimboarding? And I was like, do you know? And she was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know either. I was like, maybe it's some new form of like skateboarding, and you do this. And she was like, well, can you do that? And I was like, no, but I think my character is like a basketball or football player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, maybe they just want to see that type of player, but they're going to make me skimboard. And I was like, maybe we have time and they're going to teach us this. So like, I remember Googling it and watching videos, and I'm like, I thought that was just called like wakeboarding or something like that. I'm like, this, like, maybe that's another term for it. And I remember just reading all these things and was like, okay, didn't know this existed, and like it was popular enough to have competitions. So that was interesting. Then I got on the call with you, and we had this lovely conversation. It was like, do you know how to skimboard? And I was like, no. And you're like, well, like, are you a good learner? Do you think you could? And I was like, possibly. And I'm like, why? And you're like, well, it's just like, in my mind right now, I'm still trying to find my lead. And so like, you did so great, and I could possibly let you do the lead because you're so great. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I was like, who else do you have in mind? He was like, well, I might end up playing it, but I'm like kind of thinking I just really want to direct this and not do that. And I'm like, no, I think you got it. Like, you should do it, because it's going to look bad me out there. Like, I had no confidence in myself skimboarding. And then we get on set, then we're at the phase of, we're in Florida, we're getting ready to film, and you got Fink out there from Brazil, and you got all these other Florida legends who skimboard, and I'm watching these guys live in what they do. Yeah. Like they really do this. They live this. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I would have brought such a disjustice to this character trying to play the lead in skimboard. And I'm watching you out there, and I'm just like, yeah, this is amazing. Like I look at it from the sports I do know, from like a football aspect, from high school level to college to pro level. Like, I'm seeing the different talent level out there, and it's beautiful at all levels, because that's what sports is. Sport is an art, whether people agree with that or not. Like, there's an artistic value to that. It just doesn't show up on canvases with different paints and colors, but those different colors are the different levels and approaches someone has for that techniques. Craft. Yeah. And I love seeing that play out from, where you were able to start from and go from with every move to someone as Fink, who's so advanced and has, won 2 world tournaments.
I think he's up at 4 or 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, what did we film this, like 3 years ago? I'm sure he is. Like, the guy's amazing. Yeah. Like, the things he were doing, I'm just like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like, man, he has really perfected this, and that's such beautiful colors blending together on his canvas of technique. And so, yeah, going through the film with that was amazing for me.
So, yeah, now you were at the premiere and you watched it. From, initially your thought, and then to seeing it on the screen, did it come to life the way you maybe thought of, or what was that process like watching it?
Yes, it definitely came together.
You saw some in ADR.
I saw some in the ADR session, which was cool. I couldn't stop cheesing at the ADR. Even I don't know if you remember you and Megan taking that photo of me after the last bit I had to record it. I'm just like smiling. I turn around and I'm like, yes. And Megan was like, do the thing. And I'm like, what thing? She was like, the chest thing. I was like, oh, the T-time
baby.
She loved that. And so it was beautiful seeing it come together in all aspects. It's like, with actors, I think that most of the time we can agree that there's like a self-indulging interest in, you being on something. You want to see yourself in it as much as possible. Yeah. But for me, I've learned to give away to that and just realize, okay, how much am I adding when I am on screen, as opposed to how much am I taking up just by being on screen as opposed to giving. It's like I don't need to see myself in more. And I had to explain this to like my mom and my brother who came to the premiere with me. I don't know if you remember meeting them. They're like, I thought you were being in it more because you were like there and you were telling us about all this stuff you filmed. And I was like, yeah, but that's just how editing rooms work. And I'm sure that, the things that I did do, it could be a sound issue. It could be all these things. And so I've learned to get out of my own like way in my thought process to just go, I don't care why I didn't make it. How did the scenes land that I was in when I was? Yeah. But how does the whole thing come together? And so seeing myself on screen, like those moments where like you and I'm forgetting the characters' names. It's been so long since I talked in character names.
The girl?
No, the one who plays his best friend. Brent. The main character and Brent have Chris and Brent have their dispute in the parking lot, and Trevor is inciting them. And on this point, the character is heavily infused with the drugs he's been doing, and I like scared myself. It's only a brief moment you see my character really in that. He's not on character a lot like that. Yeah. And it scared me because I also pulled from reality there. I grew up in a home where they were heavy drug using, and I, watched these mannerisms from my grandmother, my auntie, my uncle who, do this. I, accidentally walked in the room a few times while they would do this. And so again, I didn't want to live in that scene as a bad person because these weren't bad people. I love these people. They were a victim of a circumstance that was drugs during that time, the 80s. And so when I had that scene, I was like, that scared me because it took me back to that moment. And I was like, man, that is what real drug users look like. And I sold that, and I felt like I was, but when you see it, it's different. And unless you've had that amount of exposure as myself or someone like myself has had, you don't really feel the realism of it in that scene, even though it's so brief. So seeing that was great for me, but scary because I was like, man, I really sold that, and I wasn't on drugs at all. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink, as you guys know. And how that served the beautiful ups and downs of the film, the moments with you and your Chris and his little brother in the movie. Again, that last scene with Chris and his dad. It's just such a great movie, and I was really just happy because I was like, indie movies, you sign up for them and you're like, okay, I want this to be great, and then you see it and it's like, I can't use any of that for my for my real, or I don't want anybody to come see this. Yeah. So it wasn't that, and I'm glad it wasn't that, and it had so much nuance to it as far as the character I got to play and what I put into it, and all the other actors and what they got to bring to it, for themselves.
Yeah, I don't think you were a bad guy in the film either, man. Like, I remember the first scene I think it's the first scene you're in, and you're at the Jeep and you're talking to Jaden. Yeah. You're inviting him to the game, you're being cool.
I mean, I don't know if that was a friendly invite.
I think it was. Again,
talking about it a bit. What was that scene like?
There was tension over the girl. There was there was a little bit of peacocking. Yeah. I feel like.
But that's what I was saying when the realism of that for me was like, I've seen my friends do that to girls who, it takes two to tango, where I don't think they're a bad guy if the girl is allowing that to happen. Yeah. It's like, I like you. We may be friends right now, but I don't know how long that guy's going to be around. And so I don't want you to lose whatever interest you have in me. So I'm being nice while I'm also challenging you and him to see how much I can get away with and how many seeds I can plant for the future when he may not be around. Yeah. And y'all may break up because he wants somebody else, or he's going off and doing his thing, or you may break up because you want that, and either way, I want to be the thing you come to when that breakup happens. And so in that moment for me, it was like, I want to be a nice guy, but still push that limit to where it's not offensive that I'm doing it, because there's no real data to say, bro, you're blatantly hitting on my girlfriend right now and trying to disrespect me. It's like, no, I'm not. I invited you to the game. Like, I'm joking when I say, oh, like, bring your brother to the game and he can see what a real man looks. That's a joke, bro. Like, it wasn't serious. Calm down. Like,
Yeah, it was so good. Very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done. It was awesome. It's one of my favorite scenes. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of nuance there. Yeah, man, the drug stuff is unfortunately pretty prevalent and realistic, especially in small towns. I didn't know, obviously, the backstory that you just brought up.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were that was a big thing they brought up, and how the film was impactful to them in that way. Yeah. Different people that had parents or scenarios around them. Did that when you first read that stuff in the script, did that, I mean, because initially it was, you see it's a sports drama.
Yeah.
But there's another layer of that, which is usually not that big in sports movies, because sports movies usually run like PG.
Right.
So then what was your thought seeing that, even upon the first realization of that?
To be honest, fellas, I when it's first introduced that there's a drug element, it scared me, because I was like, I don't want to be in a typical teen drug, sports film. Like, oh, here's this teen, he has to sell drugs because he's come from this particular life. And I was like, we've just seen that too much. And so reading through, I'm like, okay, here it is. Like, I don't know, like, this guy's been, like, there's ethnicities put on these characters, but I'm like, it's still going to sell the same way. It's no difference whether the main character is Black, Hispanic, Latino, Asian. Like, still got to sell drugs. But the further I went along, and I'm like, well, oh, this guy's not a drug dealer. Like, this guy is doing something that would not be considered drug dealing where I'm from. And again, I grew up in an environment where there was drug selling and drug use.
Really hard stuff.
Yeah, and it's hard stuff. And weed, as we know, people thought should have been legal forever. You look at the 70s and the hippie renaissance during that time. Like, they loved it. Like, nobody ever looked at, oh, you're a drug user. And so the amount of which he did it to and how he did it and carried himself, there were no weapons involved. There was no, waiting out on the block until 5 a.m. in the morning, pushing weight, as we would call it in, my community where I grew up. Yeah. There was none of that. And that's what I thought it was going to be initially when I read the first drug element. I was like, oh man, another drug movie. This is no different than what Power is, and with 50 Cent, which there's a market for that. I'm just like, there's enough going on in that market. I don't want to be a part of stuff that's already feeding into that. But as it went along and this guy was doing this in a way that was different, he wasn't selling it again all day long. This wasn't his main thing. This wasn't how he was going to better himself to get out of the situation he was in. Skimboarding was, and being there for his little brother was. And I'm like, oh, that's what makes this movie unique. That's what makes this different.
Yeah. So looking at, I guess this maybe will go off of the off-rip topic a bit. So you mentioned you didn't want to really be a part of something that might have gone too far. How do you, well, first of all, we got to congratulate Godderick here for doing NBA 2K 26, bro.
A little off topic there.
Talk about sports project. No, it's huge, bro.
Thank you.
Play the mocap suits, the main character, all that stuff, bro. Like,
I appreciate that.
It's amazing, bro.
It is. For me, again, it lives in such a childlike fulfillment within my psyche and spirit that like I see it as a big thing, but also still can't live in the reality of how big that is. We're talking about a top 3 selling game every year. It's a AAA game, which means that they invest hundreds of millions of dollars into it. That's the equivalent of a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, I was a part of that. I was the lead in that. And I have moments like not yesterday, but a couple of days ago, I was on set and I met the brother of a friend I have. He was like, man, this is my brother. I was like, man, I've heard so much about you. He was like, this is the one I was telling you when you told me about 2K that I was like, plays that every year, all day. And so I'm talking to him and he's just like in fandom mode with me around and like we're just buddying it up. And by the end, he was just like, man, congratulations again. And I don't know if this has landed on you, but I just want to say it, but you've saved lives. You know that?
Wow.
And I'm like, what? He was like, you've saved lives, like being a part of that game and bringing what you did to it. You've saved lives. You've kept kids off the street like you told me that it did for you growing up. And I was like, man, he brought that back to a full circle moment because it did save my life. And I've said this in other interviews about 2K is that I could have been out on the street doing things. I had friends that were. I had times where they did have me out there doing things I wasn't supposed to, and I'll take it to a deep point. No crying here, or I don't know if I could say this, but I'll try to keep it as PG again. But I remember during a hard part of my life where me and my friend were really scared and like, okay, like we have the confidence to protect ourselves one way, but how do we protect ourselves in another way? And we end up purchasing a gun. Black market. I don't know where he knew this guy from, but we put some money together and we got it. And I remember really getting into Madden and 2K around the time. And we got that gun because we were out there in the streets and thought we needed that and, you know, it was going to come in handy. I never got to use it because I was playing that game. Like it was, what are we doing tonight? Man, the new 2K is out. Let's play a tournament in that. Oh man, this is actually fun. This is thrilling. This is entertaining. We're not checking our phones. We're not out there being reckless with this thing we shouldn't even had. We were out there having fun in our living room playing this, and that saved my life because if I didn't have that, if that wasn't so appealing to me, if it wasn't so calming to me, who knows what I would have been out there using that tool to do. Yeah. And so then the full circle moment was I was at a point in my career where I had spoke with God and I was like, I'm going to emotionally quit acting. I don't know what that is going to result in for me because it's just really tough. And I know I'm good because I've heard, man, you lived in that scene. You were so great in it, and we want to pin you. We wanted this, but it never equated to anything. It never was the solution to their problem as far as casting me for one reason or another. And so when 2K came along, it revitalized this thing I love and kept me going, and that's beautiful. So yeah, that's my 2K story, and that's a beautiful thing because the guy helped me realize that the same way it saved my life, I was a part of now a history where a kid could go and play as me and be so entertained by what I brought that he didn't need to pick up that gun even if he had it, because this was more calming and protecting to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no Call of Duty.
No Call of Duty. I never got
that inspire you in the other way.
Call of Duty was there for me. I was awful at Call of Duty. No, I love we were in and then you got to throw a joke on it. That's what I love about comedy.
So is it out yet, or it's not out yet? Is it?
No, it's out.
It's
the current version out right now. It dropped last September, and it's still running. And I get random people all the time write me on IG telling me I'm the GOAT of 2
So they can play.
something
They
like
can
that.
hold on. They can play you in the game.
Yes, they can play
So
as me in the game.
You're a player in what way?
Like campaign mode, right? Or is
Yeah. So every year they shoot a film that then they put into the game, and to progress through the film, you have to play in these scenarios of the game. It's like go into this game and score 20 points, or
is it like professional? Is it street ball style? What's the vibe?
it depends on the year and the story. Some characters have a story where they start off maybe as a street baller who didn't get drafted. Some play as, the best high school player who then becomes the worst college player. In my particular story, I was not a good high school player. I was good, but I was good in the sense that if you keep going, you'll be that great. So I wasn't the most looked at high school player, which then didn't even get me to college. I had to go overseas and play. I wasn't the most looked at player overseas. And then I get to the pro, and I'm not even the most looked at player there. And through the whole journey, it's just I'm the underdog. But by the end of those pockets of life, it's like, okay, you've proved yourself. Where you were looked at in high school versus where you're ending, it's like, okay, nobody see you, but your hard work, we see you in this light. It may not be as the next LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, but we see you. Now that gets you overseas. And in this, you may not be seen as the next, Luka Doncic overseas or LaMelo Ball, but you're seen as better than you were, and that gets you to the pros. And now that you're here, it's like, oh wow, you're constantly surprising us every year. You came out on top as the MVP or Rookie of the Year, and that's what I feel like is unique about my story and my casting, is that I don't think anybody would have enjoyed that journey as much as I did, because that's been my whole life.
I was gonna ask you that, if that you had any kind of revelations or out of body experiences, maybe being the fact of being an underdog, throughout, even in the film industry. And you did what? You auditioned for that 8 years in a row.
8 years in a row it took me to get that. Yeah,
that's an underdog story in itself,
right? So that's what I poured into it, and I don't know how many people could have enjoyed the journey of filming that and feeling like, oh, I relate to this, and not a way that I could just understand of people not seeing you, but like in each pocket of what you've done throughout your journey through life and growing up, you're constantly underestimated and only coming out as, hey, we didn't see you, now we see you. Before, you're still not considered the greatest of all time, but we see you, when really the element that you have is worthy of being considered the greatest of all time, but nobody wants to give that to you. And that's been me through my sports career, especially through my acting career. As I stated earlier, I'm constantly being told, man, that was the best version of the character we've seen, and you weren't even on our radar when your team asked us to audition you for this, but now you are. You probably won't get it because we have our Jordan, we have our Kobe, we have our LeBron that we're going to give this to, but we see you now, and that's a whole different story of just being the underdog, not being seen, and then by the end being the dog, the top dog, which a lot of people end up in.
Yeah, those are tough situations, man, because I've done that a ton of, like, being up for movies or shows, and then you get the call back in the pin, and they're like, your agent says, oh, it's between you and one other guy or two other guys, and then you find out they cast, and then it's a famous actor, and you're just like, oh, okay. So it wasn't about me being good.
It wasn't.
It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
But you just get to a point of, like, I mean, for me, that's why I started producing. Yeah. Because I got so tired of those situations. But, or you just keep pushing through and auditioning, and eventually, for Off Rip, we had a name actor for the mom. Yeah. And then she fell through. And then my favorite choice for the auditions, she was able to come in.
She came in and killed it.
And she killed it. And she proved why, staying on the grind in those auditions. And now she's doing, crazy films, man. She's done a lot of great, like, studio pictures and different stuff. And so you just have to keep pushing.
That's a beautiful journey for her.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I don't know, the whole name actor situation. It's interesting. We influencers now is another attribute.
Yep.
It's a whole thing, bro.
Yeah. It makes the industry scary, but again, drawing it back, that's where you have to have an appreciation of, are you at least being seen, coming in the underdog?
Yeah.
Are you least happy with what you provided enough that by the end you're being seen? Because a lot of people aren't. They're like, I'm not seen unless I'm the dog now. Like, I'm the dog or the top dog. And it's like, you were just seen. And that's a beautiful thing, that in this ecosystem of how they cast, how they make these movies, just to be seen is a win.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true, man. We definitely saw you off rip.
Thank you.
So moving forward, I mean, just like, how are you going about choosing your roles out of the opportunities, and just, I guess navigating this next level or chapter beyond the new wins you've reached? Does it fall back to a similar pattern? Is it a new method? Is your mindset different than even 3 years ago?
It's a new process now, where I used to put all these things in there because I was like, I want them to see me as this great diverse actor who can live in these hyper realisms and be whatever I think they need. And I've stopped doing that. I go in now and I don't overwork the text. I don't put any pressure on myself like I used to, and tell myself, this is going to change your life. This is going to change your life. It's like, this is going to become part of your life if you get it, but it's not going to change it. And that's big difference in my creative process, and such a healing one. So when I go in now and I do it, I go, hey, where's the realism behind this that I could sell, that I know that this could be the character that I'm creating, or that someone I know, as opposed to what I think they want. And it's like, I'm just trying to continue to win. I'm just trying to continue to be seen at the end of the process. And that's good for me, to where people may never know my name like they may know Michael B. Jordan, and that's fine. Does that equate to me not being as good as he is or worthy as he is? It doesn't to me, because I know there's a system that I can't control within how these things are casted, and that's not where the real win comes from. Am I getting to do what I love? Yes, I'm on set all the time being paid to do what I love. And I put that in the same light as, man, if you make it to the NBA, you're part of like this 2% chance of like success that you've made it there. And if you're able to stay there, think about how many people you know a part of the NBA. You could probably name 20 people.
Yeah.
And then somebody would be like, oh, what about this player? And you're like, who is that? I've never heard of that person in my life. But that's a player who gets paid millions of dollars to never be known by name, but provides so much to some team out there that he's a core guy, and he's a part of the system, and he's getting paid to do what he loves.
Yeah.
And that's taken for granted so much that you have those same pockets in other industries, whether it's music, acting, corporate jobs. They don't need to know your name. You just need to be in the mix where you get to do something you love and be compensated for it, so you can live in this life. Because most people, if you ask them, probably would tell you, I don't need or I don't want money. I need it because life is set up to where that's the way I get to feed myself and put a roof over my head. If I didn't need that, then I would just be out there living life doing this and this if it was available to me, because that's what I need. I need happiness. I need community. I need peace. I need comfort. And those things come from being on the beach somewhere, skimboarding, playing that sport, playing 2K. It comes from those things.
Yeah.
So that's my process now, and how I then look on it to give it gratitude of where I'm at.
Yeah. That's good, bro.
Yeah.
I could say I've had similar revelations with releasing the expectation of needing more than the craft itself and the experience of it all too.
I think in a way beautiful. That's the whole game. It feels like everything comes back to like letting go and just being okay and just doing your best. I did the same thing. Like, all right, I'm just gonna do my best on everything I do. I'm not worried, not trying to make it. I've already kind of made it. Yes. I already made it. Like that was, we said that a lot. Like on Off-Rip, like I already made it. Like I made my film. I did my dream. Now it's just everything else is like a bonus type of thing.
Yeah, and even with releasing Off-Rip, we didn't put any kind of pressure on trying to. I mean, I think when I first started making the film, it was this idea of like, we're gonna get into this festival and we're gonna get, this and this and have these huge goals with it, and those are good goals to have. But as time has progressed over the past few years, it's become I think I see this more as a vehicle that's going to serve people throughout the years.
Right.
There will be, kids that maybe will watch this movie in 20 years. Just like people now go watch a Lords of Dogtown or 8 Mile.
And didn't know it existed, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm learning so much here. This helps me right now.
Yeah.
And what would you say to like a non-skimboarder or somebody who doesn't skim, if they would watch this film, what could they get out of it? Because a lot of skimboarders, they've been loving the film. Even people that don't skim, but from you watching it and your perspective, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Great question. I would say that by watching this, you get to see the joy that people are able to invite into their life from doing things you didn't even know existed out there. And that's a beautiful thing to know, because it opens up you mentally, emotionally, and physically. And it does that. Mentally, it opens you up because now you know something that you didn't know before, and that's always a beautiful thing. Whether you become an expert at it or not, you just know something that you never knew before. And I think when you're in that part of the learning tree or tree of knowledge, that's great, because it's like, this thing exists and I know it does. And if I ever meet someone who's in the unknown of this existing and it might serve them, I can educate them on that. Like, hey, it sounds like you would enjoy skimboarding. Well, what is that? Oh, well, I don't know too much, but I know this and this and this about it. And man, they're off to the races with that. They take it and they go and invest into it, build into it, and now it becomes their thing. Where physically it opens you up because you get to get out there and you get to try something, like just do something physically. And we're in such a tough culture right now where it's sit somewhere, car, home, even on the beach, and don't enjoy anything physically. You're just sitting there on your phone, on your laptop, on your computer, hopefully watching this podcast. But usually doom scrolling to the point where you're not enjoying anything in a physical sense, even if it is something mentally stimulating. We don't physically enjoy things as we used to, and that's scary. And that could lead to a different conversation about health issues and a lack of connection with your body. And so I think, again, for like me, when I seen it, I wanted to try it so bad, but I was like nursing my injury. I was like, I don't want to do that and hurt myself and not be able to film the rest of the movie, or else I would have tried that. And whenever I do get the chance, I will be trying it. I just haven't talked myself into going and buying a board and just going out there and do it myself. And then emotionally, it gives you this level of grace and appreciation for all the things out there that how people differ from you, and that gives you a respect for them and how they choose to bring happiness into their lives. It's like, oh, I like playing football. That is a great sport to me. Well, they like doing that. Well, why do they like doing that? Well, emotionally, how does the thing you make you feel? Okay, is that how that makes them feel? Exactly. You don't need to do it or, be them. You just need to know how it affects your thing you do affects you emotionally to understand and find respect for the thing they're doing and how it affects them. And you go, man, emotionally, I get that person. So if I ever meet someone now and I'm having this conversation and they're telling me about skimboarding or whatever it is they do, emotionally, you can get it. And when you put all three of those together, mentally, emotionally, physically, you're in a better place in life that you're not searching for anything outside of yourself because you realize you have it all in.
Godderick, the ultimate communicator, bro. I feel like you could have played Pops.
Man, talk about that lead actor. He was great, man. I loved him as Pops. And that character, that's a dad everybody wants right there. I mean, it's such a unique dynamic, right? Because you watch it and obviously him and the mom isn't together, so the family isn't in one home, but those kids have a father and he's there and he has a relationship with them that works for all of them. And he's there for his kids, and that's all you really want, whether he's under the same roof with your mom or not. Like, you want a pop that's there like that. And so shout out to the way you envisioned that character when you put pen to paper and scripted him out that way.
I mean, the mom character was based on a real person. And the father wasn't, but I did envision McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
We tried to pitch him. We tried. We drove all the way to Austin.
Y'all did flyers, right?
Yeah, we flyered the city.
Yeah, it was like wanted flyers.
Wanted flyers. Yeah,
that was so brilliant. Like, who came up with that?
We did talk about alternative. I think it was just a brainstorming thing.
Yeah, just collectively brainstorming.
I think Jake mentioned something about real estate signs or something like that, like putting signs in yards. And then we had this connection to a Western town. And then we just came with this idea of doing a wanted poster ad and all that stuff. But the character of Pops, it's interesting. There are little tiny details that you don't notice.
Yeah.
For example, you see the mother is still drinking and using. Pops was with her. Yeah. So you would, in your mind, imagine, okay, that must have been a vice they did together. Yeah. She finds another partner that is doing it with her in the film. When Pops comes over, and these are spoilers, guys, so if you haven't seen the movie, you better go watch it. Go. When Pops comes over for Jake's birthday, he's drinking orange juice. And so it's just like little things of like, oh, he's choosing a different life. He's choosing every moment to position his mind and his body and his spirit differently. And then you see the effect of how the interactions with the kids bleed down. Yeah. How the father talks to the son versus how the mother, who's not in the right place, is to her son. Yeah. Despite how much she loves him. Because we know that she loves him. But within that, the usury of those things. So anyway, that's just a little rant.
So dope. And go watch it. I mean, you got that Easter egg. Now you know what you need to go look for when you're watching it. But that shows you it's beautiful and getting creative what you guys did to market out to him and try to reach out to him. I commend you for that. But that also shows like that sad part of the industry and the machine it's become, as far as it being too much of an economically based business, where I'm sure if McConaughey let's say a rookie McConaughey actor read this script. Is he really saying no to that part? Mm-hmm. No, he's probably doing that, but his team probably advises him from it. The money probably discourages him, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like a lot of people who are big, they want to do things like this. And this is where I could commend Robert Pattinson, because when he was trying to get into more serious roles and, you know, then eventually becoming Batman, he did a lot of indie films. Mm-hmm. It was with bigger name directors who still had some clout out there.
Good Time was kind of right. The Safdie brothers weren't huge.
I would say they're huge on the indie scene too.
No, but by the time he worked with them,
right? Okay, yeah.
When he worked with them, they were not really anybody that were super known.
Mm-hmm.
When he worked with them, I mean, you could kind of say his movie is partially what broke them out as directors.
It definitely helped put them on a higher
the map,
echelon for sure.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I commend him for doing that and reaching out to someone who had a little. Because he found them, so somehow he knew about. They had enough buzz to where he knew about them.
He saw a still of their film, their previous film,
right,
on a obscure website of some sort.
Oh wow!
And he reached out to them. They were planning on doing another film, and then he reached out to them off of seeing a still. Like, oh, I got to work with you guys. Mm-hmm. They wrote a script around him.
Yeah,
and then he moved up there for a period of time to do the film, and was washing cars and like living on not on the street, but working in the streets and stuff.
Yeah. And people didn't even know. And that's beautiful.
Dyed his hair, the whole thing.
And I wish like more actors could do that more. Like, even, again, now he's Batman, and maybe his team and, again, the money would advise him not to do things like that anymore, where he probably still has the want and desire to do things like that. But I wish the Matthew McConaughey's and the Will Smiths and, you know, the Brad Pitts and Denzel Washingtons could do that.
Yeah.
Because there's scripts like the one he did, Good Times and Off Rip out there, that they would read and do it. And Matthew McConaughey would kill as Pops.
Look at him with Dallas Buyers Club.
Right.
That's kind of, and you know, the similarity between McConaughey and Pattinson and these other actors, the moments when they do those films are when they had already had a big rise,
right?
And then they the buzz dies about them, and they need something new to shift. And doing another rom-com, doing another Twilight love adjacent isn't. Yeah. So they have to dig deep. Mm-hmm. But then once they dig deep, it's almost like, oh, they prove themselves. Then people love them, and then they come back
up.
But now they're too high.
Same thing, yeah.
And then so you got to wait until it's like, you know, Nicolas Cage had the same thing. He like fell off, and then did indies. He did a movie like Pig, which blew up. And then it's just these different these waves.
Yeah, to survive within the system that is business of entertainment, and that just is awful. It's like, okay, if it was more of a consistent where you could do a big movie and be at the same level, if you go do, you know, something as small as Off Rip, that, you know, a smaller pool of people are going to see, but it fills you up internally as opposed to you know, monetarily, that would be a beautiful thing if you could just constantly do that but still be here in your career. Where a lot of people won't do it because they're afraid or someone's encouraging them not to. So that's again just a little tidbit of why it's always like sad where art has been cornered into because of monetary
commodity,
gain as a commodity.
So do you have any advice to actors, especially regarding the business?
Yes. I always say there's pillars that you need to build to survive your approach to this, which is, one, no sacrifice in and out, because that's going to be so either detrimental or beneficial to the lanes you're willing to go to. And
what do you mean by no sacrifice in and out? You mean having boundaries within how much you'll sacrifice?
Yes. Or knowing exactly what you're willing to sacrifice, because at the end of the day, it is your life and you get to decide what you're willing to do to make it to where you want to be. But we all know in this industry what temptations lie, you know, coercion, drugs, party life, all that awaits you to be around those who can then influence your career, but influence you more. So if you know what you're willing to sacrifice and you're okay with that, there's going to be no regret by the time you get to a certain point in your life or you're retired and you look back on your career and you're like, yeah, I did this and I was willing to do that. Most people weren't, but I was, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Whether that was, again, the partying or whatever someone is trying to coerce you into doing. Respect if that's what you've already in your heart agreed to do.
Yeah, where you're willing to draw the line.
Yeah, where you're willing to draw the line. But know that before, as opposed to coming in not knowing it, and then people are pulling you in every which direction, and you're just like, I'm just trying to make it, and it's like, well, you're not going to, because you don't know where you want to make it to, and you don't know what you're willing to sacrifice to make it. 2, don't do it for the money, because if you do it for the money, you're always going to be sad. Because you look at, again, someone who Robert Pattinson, he came in, he did Twilight. Those big box office success. He probably made a lot of money. He was not fulfilled by that. So what did he have to end up doing? Projects that paid him literally nothing to do them, and that fulfilled him way more, because he got to showcase stuff and people then respected him more. And it was like, well, we can all probably almost assume he did Twilight for the status and the money, thinking that was going to fulfill his career and put him where he needed to be, and it wasn't. People were like, oh, great, vampire. That's all you are, is the vampire from Twilight to us. You glitter.
Yeah.
Where doing something like Good Times, people were like, you're an actor. But look at the monetary difference between the two.
Yeah.
So if you want to be an actor, you want to be an artist, don't do it for the money, because you're going to do something big and you're going to think, oh, that makes me an actor and that's going to fulfill me. I'm have artistry, and that's all people are going to see you as, and it's not going to take your career in the way you want, and you're going to be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I have money, why aren't I happy? I thought I'd get the big role, even though it might not be the one I wanted to do, and I'd be good because at least I'm financially stable. Nope. So that's a huge pillar to have in there. Just be happy with getting paid even, small amounts to do what you love.
Yeah. So have strong boundaries, know your boundaries and your goals. Don't do it for the money, and be willing to, do it for the artistry. What's number 3?
Number 3 is have a good work ethic. Like, know the difference between worked for talent and endowed talent. You're going to come in thinking, oh, my family, friends, whoever always tell me I'm so funny, I'm so good looking, I'm so talented and stuff, and those are all great, but that only gets you so far. Like, again, that reference I gave earlier, that basketball player, you don't know his name, that guy still puts up 1,000 shots a day. To stay in the role where nobody knows his name, he still has to put up 1,000 shots a day. So great, you're talented. A lot of people are. A lot of people could do the accents. A lot of people can cry on cue. A lot of people can play serious and then play comedy. Great. You were endowed with that naturally. But now, no work ethic. Pour into your talent and make sure that you're maintaining that or building it, even if it is just so nobody knows your name. It makes you a better artist. It fills you more. Yeah.
Well, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, for the love of the craft, then you will naturally have good work ethic.
Yeah, it should come. You would think that, but I've met a couple people. I'm like, do you love acting? Like, do you love the artistry of it, or do you just want fame? They're like, no, I've loved acting since I was like 5. And I'm like, but I've never see you like practice, or like when I'm like, let's go to this class, you're like, nah. When I'm like, hey, let's, write scripts and like read and do, you're like, nah. I'm like, do you really love the craft, or maybe I'm just not seeing it? Like, how are you giving back to your inner craft? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Other than these auditions that are coming that will pay you this big money or put your name out there, what else are you doing?
Yeah.
And so you would think, and maybe it's sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't situation, but I think it's something someone should pillar their artistic investment on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the training is definitely something that should never stop. The auditions are maybe you get some reps in, but it's not, shouldn't replace your training. And it's tough because then there comes the sacrifice too. Okay, I've got to audition. I've got to also train. Yeah. Physically stay in shape. Have good mental health and, my routines outside of work. And then I also have to make money. Yeah. On top of that. Yep. So that's a lot.
It is a lot. And that's why it's such a beautiful thing that if you get a chance to do it, that you're just doing it. That's why it's so beautiful, because to be an artist it's not an easy thing to do. Yeah. And so you got to do it only if you really love it. Yeah. Because it will break you down. It will tear you down. And the only thing building you back up is these pillars that you stand on, which then brings me to the fourth one. The fourth pillar is know yourself outside of it. Build something that keeps you happy and within the realm of yourself. Like, oh, you out there and maybe you like golf as much as you can. Don't sacrifice golf just because you're like, man, I can't be out there doing it. No, golf. You love golfing, go golf. Yeah. Have fun with it. Maybe build a business around it, so it makes you money doing that while you're there, because your artistry is always going to be there. You don't need, again, to star in the next Marvel movie to be fulfilled as an artist. You can be in a great indie movie like Off Rip, and that will fulfill you as much as a Marvel movie if you let it. But outside of that, once the movies are done, the video games are done, what's there?
Right, because there's always going to be what's next in terms of career, but what's there when you're not in that space.
So have that girlfriend or boyfriend who is your life, and that's fine. If they are your life, then that's your life. Pour into that. If golf is your life, pour into that. If fitness is your life, do that. Have all these things. Like, I hate working out. I don't like doing it.
What?
Right. It blows people's minds every time I say this. But at the end of the day, I'm an athlete outside of my artistry. And a part of
discipline,
a part of being an athlete is working out. Even if I don't have the camaraderie of my team around me doing it. Like, I love working out in a team setting.
It's great.
Challenging myself with, my boys around me and go, oh, yeah, I can outbench you, or I'm going to squat more, or I'm going to cheer you on even, That's healthy competition too. Like, I'm cheering you on to lift more. You're cheering me on. I love that, but I don't have that really anymore because, everybody's so busy doing their own thing. But I have to do that because that still feels like an athlete to me. That still feels me like the athlete I am. And then that helps me then go play in the football league I'm in and go play the pickup basketball games I play every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it helps me do that, and that helps me feel like me outside of waiting and thinking about what is the next 2K I'm going to do? What is the next off rip I'm going to do? So those 4 pillars will guide you through it and keep you humble and happy throughout the process.
Yeah, and it keeps you present too, when you have things to work on outside of the work and being in between the highs and lows of the industry. You play Monday, Wednesday, Friday basketball. Yeah. It keeps you occupied and challenged and growing and social. Yeah. That you might not have otherwise if you're not working.
For sure.
So I started jiu-jitsu.
Oh, congratulations,
thank you,
man.
bro. I'm already injured.
It's tough. I was in Brazil and got to see, like, you know, the traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu and like how those guys, it becomes, it's a lifestyle, like literally, like they live in it. Like they wake up, they eat together, train together, dance. Like it's amazing, man. So like I'm in love with it, but I haven't got to the point where I'm like, I want to physically love it yet. So congratulations.
Just
how's it been?
It's been good. I'm like 3 weeks in, and I'm doing it like 2 to 3 times a week right now. And I started doing it because of this character of this other film. And
right.
Not because he's a jiu-jitsu guy or anything, but there is physicality, there's fighting, and there's, you know, there's a bit of, I guess, wrestling someone to the ground or things like that. And I just wanted to feel controlled again. Yeah. Because I had not been connected with my body in that way. I had done Muay Thai years ago, but I've never really done any kind of jiu-jitsu or anything. So it's just like a new skill that I'm learning, that I'm, you know, a lot of the guys are 40, 60 pounds heavier, and they're, you know, they know moves I've never heard of, and I get pinned and thrown around, but it feels good. It's like being in football. Yeah. You know?
See, that's a perfect example, people. Like if he wasn't in tune with his body, he wouldn't even be able to notice that. So you got to get out there and, you know, feed into your physicality, because if you don't know, then you're going to get into a row and be like, why am I not able to do this? Why I feel like such disconnected here. Why? You don't know, because you're not constantly playing that sport or doing whatever it is, staying within your body. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah. Well, Jake, you have anything else, bro?
Yeah. What's your favorite scene in Off Rip? In under a minute, what's your favorite scene? It can be your scene. It cannot be your scene. What do you got?
Well, from script to cinematic vision, it all came together. My favorite scene is Pops and Chris on the beach, having that father-son moment that myself, as someone who grew up without a father, always yearned for, and I know a lot of young men and even older men who are currently going through life in that same scenario with a father who they've had it with, or a father they never had, appreciates. You know, for us who didn't have it, we see that, and it gives us this comfortability in our yearning that, man, that's beautiful. I wish I had that growing up. So it's nice to see why those who have had that father in their life, like you, I've met your father, amazing man. They go, I've been lucky to have this in my life, and that's beautiful. That scene, it gives to everyone on multiple levels, and so it's a beautiful moment. Again, especially in the climate we're in now, where, again, whether you have a father or you don't, as a man, we're, you know, told we're such vicious and, you know, angry creatures that, you know, we can't be intimate. All we could do is fight, and you see a beautiful moment between two men that shows a level of comfortability and intimacy that is real and is available if you have the opportunity to have it. It's available, it's there. And so that's my favorite scene. Go watch the movie and see it. I guarantee you cry.
It's actually my favorite scene too, man. I said that on episode 1 of Off Script. That's the one I talked about. Yeah.
We shot that scene so quickly. We were under the gun. We were fighting the lighting. We thought we were going to get an actual sunset. We did.
Yeah, there was a lightning storm. We didn't think we were going to be able to film. It was almost got canceled. And God had another way of doing it. Because I did have that perfect picturesque classic orange sunset in mind. But with the storm that came and everything that happened, we just went and did it super quick. But
it worked out better.
Yeah. It works out. And again, with a scene like that, it was always going to, because all you needed was the purity of emotion that you and Pops brought to that scene for it to work, because energy is transferable, I believe, and so they feel it, even if they can't see that. If they're just listening to that, they're gonna feel it. If they see it, no matter what the going on in the background, the foreground, they feel it. And then you put all of the senses in there, you know, feeling, hearing, and you have just a beautiful scene, man. Beautiful scene.
I love it. Well, that's Off Script episode 5.
Off Script episode 5.
Bye, everybody.
Godderick Alucard. Wait. Aren't we supposed to do like social media handles on
We'll put you in the description.
Podcasts? Okay. Well, still, y'all can go follow me at Godderick the Positive on Instagram. That's pretty much all I have. I played Trevor. Please go watch Off Rip.
My man is always positive. I love it.
Mr. Positivity, streaming on Amazon and Apple TV. Go watch it.
And soon to be internationally. We just had a great conversation today about some international territories coming soon. We'll keep you guys updated.
Bye.
Cool.